Well, this is amazing. This is the 22nd year in a row of the summer retreat, and being a great honor to lead beings in this most amazing tradition. When we have the summer retreat, well, most of the time, over the 22 years, it is an opportunity to, as I usually do, but not always, an opportunity, not so much for, if you want, a strict 20-hour-a-day meditation, but teaching to so many different people who have so many different experiences of Dharma. From some of you are teachers of Dharma, some of you have been around for some years, and others brand new to the Dharma. So I'm teaching to all of you, and in that sense, it's a retreat of classes, which I consider to be absolutely vital, study and also meditation. In the tradition of Dzogchen, Vajrayana tradition, and Mahamudra, these very exalted traditions of the diamond vehicle that came from India and has been practiced in Tibet for a long time, teachers don't really make a distinction between really a class and teaching. So if you can use the class as a contemplative time, as a time for profound meditation, then we work together, and everybody works together to unfold the retreat, whether we're in a class or in the kitchen or anywhere at all, and that makes for a wonderful retreat. I've had some of the most profound experiences in my life in the middle of a class, outside the class, in a car during a class, coming out of a 20-hour-a-day retreat and going to a motel with my teacher and going back into retreat. Come on, let's go for the weekend. Go have a holiday. Or let's go to Niagara Falls. Yeah. So the idea is when we practice in the tradition of Vajrayana, is to make no separation between our contemplation, our practice, or study, or classes. Of course, the ability, the depth by which you can develop meditative concentration, a relaxed, open flow of natural, bright awareness on a subject, deepens when you don't speak, when you're isolated and you can have a cabin or a cave to yourself. So that's a great thing. So we do both of those things. So the class tomorrow, which is on the nature of total freedom. It's a beautiful little short sutta the Buddha taught, a discourse. But I just wanted to introduce the art of retreat tonight, as with a theme which I'll come to in greater depth tomorrow, the rest of the retreat, which is really what we do in retreat. And it sounds so simple, but it's not. And if you can remember this and keep remembering what you're doing, it's really good, is you're unbinding that which is bound. That's all. You're unbinding to the unbound. And most of us, until we get into a deep retreat of a week to 2 weeks, 3 weeks, a month, 3 months, and so on, we have no idea how wound up, like a wind-up clock or a wind-up toy, that we've become. And it's not just the society, it's not just now, although never, I don't think there's been a period in history like this, where beings are so wound up. It's just completely like this. But the same issues of being wrapped up in fantasy, dialogue, conceptual thoughts, and so on, and moving from desire, attraction to another desire, attraction to anger, to delusion, so on. these have been around for millions of years. So in that sense, nothing has changed. So if you can remember that what one does in retreat is one unbinds to a natural unbound nature. That's it. And that's the class for tomorrow in detail. All the rest after that is building the muscle. So I have the good fortune in Guatemala, when I go to Guatemala, not here, but I wish, it'd be great, is Laurel and I have a trainer in Guatemala, wonderful, Andre. And before COVID, we go to the gym, and Andre would take us on for an hour. And all this equipment in the gym, I never knew quite which piece of equipment we'd be on. But he's a very, very skilled trainer, and it's an amazing 1-hour workout. We think of meditation as something you do just relax the mind. But actually, meditation, real liberation, awakening, which is what I teach, which is Dharma, not just meditation. Meditation is the vehicle to do that. But to awaken and become liberated out of an act of compassion for yourself and others requires building muscles. Nice blessings, lovely, eh? By the way, whether these retreats start in July or August, the first day has rain. This is really interesting. So we just finished this warm period, and now the blessings of rain. So it's wonderful. I think it's been decades. It's great. Less watering the garden. So to unbind, to come to a luminous, natural, free mind, requires building the kinds of muscles to do that. That's why we have classes. Otherwise, we just say, relax. No, keep relaxing. Relax. No, you're not relax. 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 That's not it at all. So when we say unbound, unborn, unfabricated, it's very special. We empty to discover the riches and the extraordinary nature of the empty mind, free of both clinging and the emotional confusion. Isn't that straightforward, isn't it? That's really it. So everything that we do, or everything that you do, is a practice of muscle building to unbind that which is confused, tight, mentally tight, physically tight, energetically tight, until the natural radiant mind of luminosity, very compassionate, open, begins to shine through. And most of you in this room have experienced that from time to time, but not so well practiced at it. The confusion, the daydreams, the fantasies, the concepts, the life confabulations, you know that word, confabulations, fabrications, occasionally get in the way of that naturally vivid, pristine nature. So there are some principles that I would like to outline, some principles of excellent retreat work. And I will, of course, unfold most of these in the next 3 weeks. But remember this, there's about 5 key points for having a really excellent retreat. And by the way, an excellent retreat, I don't judge. I don't put marks on for how many fantastic experiences, meditative experiences you have. Some of the best experiences I've had and others. Really not many signs, but actually excellent growth and learning. It's beautiful. Yeah. Matter of fact, a lot of people who study with me, not all, but a lot, are quite dry. They're dry types. They're not having profoundly far out meditative experiences every day. They're really quite dry, which means they just unfold. Silently unfold. And the qualities come out, and they're very obvious. So when we are in retreat, we make opportunities. And I like to use the word, which is very ancient, which is auspicious opportunities. And the whole purpose of a teacher is to help you, direct you to learning how to make auspicious opportunities. That is, that which works and avoiding that which doesn't work, and shortening the period down so it's the most efficient thing you can do. That's really what it is. What are those opportunities? Those opportunities are a really good place, bringing the right people together, and so on. All the kinds of excellent things that happen. Hearing the Dharma. As the Buddha would say often, the Shakyamuni, hearing the Dharma at opportune times. Hearing the Dharma at seasonally correct times. Having the right people come together, they're sincere, they're interested, they settle in, they get a really good heart for what's going on, and they go after it. So the confidence in trust takes years, actually, months and years, to build to where and you think, oh, it's confidence in meditation. No. Oh, it's confidence in the Buddha, the Dharma, the Sangha. Oh, it's confidence in the teacher, and so on. Actually, it's confidence in liberation. And that can take a long time. Liberation is confidence in the Buddha. Liberation and awakening is confidence in the Dharma. Confidence in the Sangha. Confidence in your teachers. Confidence in you. That's the problem. If you really have confidence, not in your ego, but in your beingness to have the entitlement to be awake, to be liberated and awake, then you have utter confidence in Dharma. And you have utter confidence. Beautiful. So that's why we give classes, is to bring about confidence or trust, faith, in the process and the attainment of awakening. So these 5 points I'm going to go over are useful, highly useful in the beginning, highly useful in the middle, and highly useful at the end. So how do we grow confidence and trust in the awake natural mind? This isn't something, as you'll hear tomorrow, the Buddha was very clear on this. Sometimes he would talk about the development of liberation, the development of awakeness. But there's also these amazing short suttas where he clearly points out it's already there. It's just there. You know? Hundreds and hundreds of years before the writings and the traditions of Dzogchen and Mahamudra, which are very clear on that point. A Buddha nature, awake mind is already there. It's been there for your whole life, and it's been there in the nature of all phenomena. Very hard point to understand. So from that point of view, what is it confidence in? It all stems from confidence that there is a genuine path. This tradition here is 2,500 years old, and I have another robe, which I sometimes wear, which was given to me by Namgyal Rinpoche, and it has an emblem on it, which is considered to be the oldest ordination tradition that comes through Burma from India, Sudama Nikaya lineage, of which he was a holder, and he passed that on to me, which is 2,500 years of unbroken ordination tradition. So this is not something that's my invention at all. So when you read the biographies and you read the history and you read texts and so on, you realize there's millions, not just 100,000 or not just 10,000, just a few. There are millions of people who have done this work of unfolding for 2,500 years and have done very well. There's wonderful liberation stories of women and men and Theravada and from Burma and Thailand and Tibet and India and China and Japan. And most monasteries, most teachers, by the way, I don't so much. I don't have a file on my students, just memory. and either did Mahamudra or Rinpoche have files, but actually in many monasteries and places they keep track of who liberates and how much they liberate. They actually document those things. They keep a list. So-and-so did this, so-and-so attained rainbow body, so-and-so attained first stage of path, and so on. And they actually, it's right in the text. It's right there. So it's millions. It's millions of beings that have awakened to one degree or another to their mind that is actually free. That's really extraordinary. To me, that's where a lot of faith comes in. A lot of confidence. If they can do it, why can't we do it? Straightforward. Take extraordinary conceit. Wouldn't it take extraordinary conceit and ego clinging to say, well, I can't. I can't actually. They did, but I can't. Of course, human beings are human beings. Maybe that dog. Where's Tashi, by the way?
She's right here.
Right there? Oh, that's right. Maybe she can too. She's heard enough Dharma classes, and she sat in meditation a lot. And her mind is also the ground of her mind is absolutely brilliantly awake. I have a beautiful, for a long time now, and every time I come and give a retreat or teach, even sometimes just cracking open a text, like the one starting tomorrow, I have great confidence in liberation, partly because as the years go by, it's now getting almost on to 50 years, I think it's 46 years of teaching and practice, more than that practice, 50 years of practice. The Buddha was a genius. I mean, this guy was absolutely a brilliantly genius, and that has been said by masters for thousands of years. We're very fortunate. There was a being who was of such genius qualities of liberation and understanding how beings unfold that we're very fortunate, and that brings about great confidence in the path called the path of Dharma, path of liberation. So there is confidence in the Buddha. There is a confidence in the teachings of the Buddha. There's confidence in the beings who have attained, who are living today, that actually can guide other people. It's wonderful. Yeah. So if people have the skill and means and the qualities to teach, to guide other beings, this is a marvelous thing, and it's due to the awakeness of Shakyamuni Buddha and all the people that came after that. It's amazing. So this confidence in yourself, not that you have one, but confidence in whatever fabrication you've got going, is the most important thing. It really is. Without it, it constantly goes into self-doubt. So are you going to have self-doubt in this retreat? Yes, it's likely. There's a few of you that will not, because you've gone beyond that. That's great. But self-doubt, it's not possible. I can't meditate. It's not going to happen. I'm not getting experiences. I should have experiences. I signed up for a retreat. I'm here, and I gave Donna the teacher, and it should happen. How to ruin it. Remember, it's unbound. Unbound. Hope and fear, let them go. It's beautiful. Next one. The 5 precepts of the 8 precepts. The Buddha taught, and I'm a really great believer in this, that the 5 precepts of not training not to kill, and not to steal, and not to have false speech, and not to have sexual misconduct and lying, and drugs and alcohol and so on that befuddle the mind. This is the minimum requirement of mental and physical and speech activity. It's the minimal requirement for an awakening mind. You just can't do it. It's too turbulent. So if you remember that, and I'll go into detail later, when we're in retreat, if you can And I think most of you have teachings on the five precepts. But if you can hold to the 5 precepts as doing no harm to yourself and other beings, no harm to the environment, no harm to the ecosystem of your being and ecosystem to other beings, which means don't interfere with what other beings are doing. This is great advantage. The turbulence that most of you have, the reason, and this is going to sound outrageous, but it's actually utterly classic. But just don't come out quite this way. The turbulence that most people have in their meditation is coming not because you're a bad being, but the precepts are messy. If the precepts are really clean, your mind is really pure. It settles very quickly. And most of you, I'd say almost everybody in this room, if I just look around, is a really good being. Actually, a pretty good ethical being. So we're not talking about in the word the Pali word papa or Sanskrit word papa, really bad stuff, robbing banks, dealing with arms, terrorist activities, slave trade, this sort of thing. No, we're not talking about that. Bank robbers, criminal activity. Maybe occasionally in your life, but the little stuff that sometimes blows up on you, this is what's really creating the karmic or the activity disturbances in the nervous system, so that when you go to have a clear, lucid mind and look at mind and take up these contemplations and it moves all over the place, that activity that's moving around in your nervous system is really what you're having a difficulty with. And then you say, well, I was going to keep this a short class. Gosh, maybe I haven't taught for a couple of weeks. I mean, a class. Yeah, it's been a couple of weeks. It's not you. I'm going to be saying that over again. So many people in the West are saying it's me. It's my fault. It's not your fault. You're living in a milieu, you're living in a soup, a cultural soup, where everything is telling you and teaching you how to be distracted all day and night long. If you leave your cell phone on, and so it clicks and burps and beeps, and maybe the dog beside you and everything else, or your partner, you are in a distracted soup where the training is what? What's the training of your lifetime? Distraction. There's a fellow recently in retreat for 2 weeks, and in this retreat we decided, he's done many, in this retreat decided no cell phone. I mean absolutely no cell phone or computer use. 0. Finally. None. No checking, nothing. He's absolutely singing praises of hallelujah for what it did for him. He's had a cell phone from the day they came out. And he's been on them from the day he came out. And he's retired, and he's still on them from all day long. Computers, cell phones, socializing, Facebook, you name it, really, really busy creatures. And then they come and say to me, Lama, can you teach me how to meditate? But you have to realize what kind of soup you're in. So you have an opportunity here in this wonderful space, this wonderful environment of Crystal Mountain, which has a really pure, clean energy. It's an extraordinary place that I'm just amazed. This whole ridge, this whole area is so absolutely unperturbed and undisturbed. When I go to other retreat centers and other places in the world to teach, and there's always this, not all of them. Some of them are better than others, but disturbances, historic, cultural disturbances. This place is really clean. It's fantastic for teaching. It's fantastic for growth. Wonderful. Now, you can also do really well in places where they're disturbed. There's retreat centers that are actually kind of frothy that way. And if you have the right teacher and the right teachings, yeah, really good. Yeah, sometimes too peaceful. So remember that the 5 precepts or the 8 precepts here you can have a time. This is great. You'll save a lot of money coming to this retreat. I just finished a month retreat. I saved so much money. I wasn't on Amazon once. Not even once. Not once. It's fantastic. So, the art is to... So I'm going to make it really simple what retreats are about. The art is to know the body, speech, and mind activity of that which awakens and liberates and that which doesn't. If you can just remember that, it's a process of elimination. This works, this doesn't work. This is unwholesome, this is wholesome. Going and finding a retreatant and starting up a nice social conversation doesn't work. You get the idea? That's called killing their retreat. Murdering my chances of a retreat. That's called killing, right? And that's a 2. Oh, actually, there's only... Oh, depends how you count these. Number 3. And then the 6th paramita. We're practicing, we're in a soup. We're going to be in an environmental soup, a microbiome, a macrobiome of an ecosystem by where the 5 precepts are upheld, the 8 precepts for some of you are upheld. No money, no dancing. We're not going to have, music and dancing every night and social. We won't have socials in here. Right, so there's one of the 8. But if we all create an environment of the 6th parami, that is generosity, a relative and transcendent generosity, excellent ethics and virtue, we really build a glorious energy and patience. Patience, real patience in ourselves, in others, a patient approach, bit by bit. We gradually allow our energies to build by just relaxing and being in an environment like this. And then our minds become very lucid, relaxed, lucid, and open. That's called meditation, attentive. And then we find that the nature of wisdom, the unfolding of wisdom grows, the 6 perfections. So what a wonderful opportunity to be in a milieu where that's what we're doing. Fantastic, isn't it? See, I'm meditating, but actually you have an opportunity to perfect everything you need for excellent meditation and excellent wisdom and compassion. And number 5, something I like to teach every retreat, is if you can slow down your body, go like a snail or a slug. We have lovely snails here, and we have lovely big slugs, well, sometimes little ones. If you can slow way down, not in the kitchen when you're cutting carrots or you're making a meal, helping making a meal, but every other place. Oh, and by the way, come to class on time. But everything you do is getting slower because your attention is becoming relaxedly, beautifully focused. Is if you can slow down your body, your speech, and your mind, that is the art, one of the great arts of meditation. I watch people in retreat. They move so quickly. They're so busy with their body, speech, and mind. So when you get up, take 30, 40 seconds, a minute to stand up. If you bring a glass and you want to develop a beautiful samadhi, a beautiful quality of natural attentiveness, take 20 seconds to bring the glass to your mouth. Not like this. Tight meditators, but lovingly interested in the act of lifting the cup, bringing it to the lips, tasting, and replace it. Beautiful? Yeah. Speech. Develop a loving, which I mean gentle, not angry, check on internal dialogue. You know, I think it's in fashion in some places today. I read about this in journals and so on, or scientific journals, to fantasize, to have discursive dialogues, to let the mind run on and be creative. That's how you kill your evolution, your awakening mind. It's not because we're trying to have absolutely no thought. Oh, that's good. That's really good meditative training. It's the run-on 30,000, 20,000 discursive dialogues and thoughts that's killing us. All that conceptual building is like building a house that gets firmer and firmer and firmer. As you get older, it's going to get more rigid, more bound, more tight, yeah, in your body, your speech, and your mind. So keep a check on run-on fantasy ideas, the busy mind that's working away, trying to figure everything out, and so on. Just gently, interestingly, cut it. Starts again, cut it. The same thing. So there's inner dialogue and there's outer dialogue. The need to talk, the need to find some excuse to have a nice philosophical conversation with your fellow retreatant. Come with me, I will teach you some meditation or some philosophy or something. That happens in retreat. Cutting down external and internal speech. Every time we think, every time we speak, we change our body chemistry. This isn't make-believe. It's not far-out stuff. It is just something you'll come to eventually. And we now know this with neurophysiology. It's the case. Every time you have an internal thought or external dialogue, your whole body is permeated by hormones, neurohormones, neuropeptides, and chemical signaling. It builds and builds and builds and builds. That includes notes. So one time in a long retreat, I think it was a 5-month retreat, after about a week and a half, the administrator brought me, they were getting swamped with notes. So this is a silent retreat for 5 months, stacked like this. And they said, what do I do with all these notes? You know, you've probably experienced this, yes? What do I do with all these notes? I said, burn them. And you see the people in the retreat, right? I want, Tom's white peppermint toothpaste. I need, such and such. I need, and so on. I said, burn them all. Burn them. Burn them. Burn them. Burn them. You see the look on me. Notes to each other. I didn't know there was a whole underground prison thing going on of notes to each other, writing incredibly complex notes and so on for that entire retreat. Yeah. So this is speech. This is just how to degrade a retreat, and then mind. So loosen the mind, relax the mind, slow the mind down, let it unbind, let it unfurl, let it unfurl. For many people, that's anxiety producing. How many people can sit like this for 3 or 4 hours, let alone 5 minutes? Just having a relaxed mind. Absolutely interested. That's called love, by the way. Absolutely interested mind. With nothing to do, nowhere to go, no place you have to be, and no internal dialogue that you have to have. No anything. Just settle. Just lucidly, clearly, settled in its own nature. That's called meditation, by the way. So we train to get there. So part of this retreat is going to be about unbinding the physiology. How to unbind tight physiology through very, very simple, straightforward, aware means. If the physiology is bumping around, your mind will bounce around. If your energies are all flying about, the mind states fly about. The mind doesn't fly about, never does. But the mind states do. So when we teach, no matter what we're teaching, the purpose of Buddha Dharma is is first of all to discover mind states, good mind states, but the essence of all meditation of Buddha Dharma is to discover mind. Not mental states, not far out experiences. Mind in its natural ground, luminous, non-clinging nature. That's it. And by the way, it's not non-dual. Get rid of all that stuff. Non-dual, it doesn't exist. It's a concept. And duality doesn't exist. Both of them are complete make-believe. But we're going to have to get into them. Okay. That's it. Oh, that was good. So, how to have a good retreat? Let go of the expectations. Enter into the contemplations. Enter into the program. Don't overstrive. Don't understrive. Be relaxed, but be interested and energetic. Be generous to yourself by giving to yourself the Dharma, and be generous to other beings by allowing them to imbibe the Dharma. And grow. I say to people around me, very often, the most important thing is you learn how to learn. That's it. Learn how to learn. Dharma is about learning how to learn that which works to liberation and that which gets in the way. It's quite straightforward. When I go out with my golf instructor over there, Nathan, Nathan shows me very often. He's very nice about it. He's very diplomatic, actually. For a crappy golfer, he's very diplomatic. He goes, Lama Mark, you might want to try altering your stance the following way. You might want to approach the ball in a little bit of a different way. He's very, very diplomatic with me. It's very nice. I have had some instructors that have kind of kicked me in the butt. Is there something you don't understand? So it's a process of eliminating and learning in your body, your speech, your mind, that which just doesn't work, and let it go. And discovering, because you feel it, you get to know it, you make that discovery, it works. And if you can't do that, it's troublesome, because then you're going to ask me for the rule. And most of you know that I don't teach a bunch of rules. Is that right? I teach principles. You got to learn principles. How to meditate? I'll teach you how to meditate. I'll teach you how to meditate very exactly. You're still going to have to learn what's behind it all. If you can, it's beautiful. The 5 precepts aren't rules. They're great trainings. The 6 paramitas aren't rules. There's no rules for the 6 paramitas. They're unfoldings. I think that's it. How much should you eat? I don't know. How much should you sleep? I just wouldn't sleep in, through classes. Should be 3 hours, 4 hours, 6 hours, I don't know. What would happen if you woke up and you felt refreshed in the morning? Congratulations. Is it 6 hours, 8 hours? They all say, what is now? It's now 8 hours, but it used to be 7 and it used to be 10. So anyways, but you find that out. And that depends, if you're a city dweller, if the studies of how many hours of sleep you need are coming from city dwellers, that's very different than most people who come here and to start to actually sleep. You have to find out by direct experience what works, and you're going to keep revising it. Believe me, what worked this year is not necessarily something that you can look at and go, Oh yeah. No, actually, I thought it was working. It's not really working that well. That's beautiful. That's really lovely. It's just learning. I think that's the same with the way you probably taught in school, yes? Mm-hmm. How to learn. Yeah, it's good. Same thing. So, all these awake minds trying to be awake, and sometimes we flail about a little bit, trying to wake up the mind and be in a state of a lovely peace and compassion, but the confusion, which is not your confusion, never was your confusion about how to do it, is quite involved. So we're going to unbind that. Well, with that said, I don't think any need for questions. We can start that tomorrow and find out what's on your minds. I just wanted to say hello, and I'm just so overjoyed to be able to have another opportunity to help people grow, unfold, wake up, and all of us are growing in different ways. So if you come up to the Gompa, you will see a garden there where there's so many different plants and require different kinds of attention. You know, it's fantastic. We had a breakthrough. We had a rose that we bought a couple of years ago, a red rose. It's a climbing rose, and it comes out deformed every year. It comes out all weird and deformed and blackened, and it's a red rose and just kind of there. So we thought we were going to move it this year and just see if maybe it's that. But it produced a stem coming out of the base because it's a graft. And finally it produced this very thick, beautiful growth right near the bottom where the soil is. And it's got this cluster of roses. They're just absolutely iridescently red, fragrant, and for the first time in years, it's found a way to be absolutely glowing. Did you get the idea? It's a little bit to do with compost. Same thing, same principle. Well, let's finish off with a dedication and aspiration. We'll make it short. This guy Lama came up with this one day.